my name is Aparna, and I've been in this HR professional field at least for the last 22 years. So I come with, 2 decades plus. But then if I have to look back, I have done various roles across industries, right? I started with a recruitment firm, then moved to a large IT organization. From there, I moved to a services industry, the startups, then I ran my own consulting firm, post which I actually joined in elderly healthcare, where I didn't do HR, but I did more of a business role. I did the business development, I did operations, and I even helped them set up medical care centers in the retirement communities. And then I said, okay, but what is it that I like to do the most, being HR, right? That's when I went back, to being HR, and then currently with an IT organization as the CHRO. So that's been the journey that I've had. I think Indian work ethic, right? I would say that you can't have one defining character. All I can say is, because of our culture, right? Each one of us, I think, come with strong sense of determination, right? And we all come from various circumstances and challenges, which kind of gives us that flexibility in learning new skills, integrating into diverse work environments. So, it's really difficult to say this is what it is, but I think our culture also emphasizes on education, continuous learning, respect for authority. All of that plays a significant role in shaping our work ethics. That's, my take on it. We do use assessment tools, which comes ingrained in the ATS tool that we have. But having said that, it can only work for a certain level and below. It can't come for a leadership. For a leadership, it does take a very different kind of, hiring, right? If you look at it, I would say skills is one. All of us get that skills across varied industries. The way I look at it for a leadership hiring or, things like that, where you can't say this is the right answer, right, for a problem. How am I even going to understand that will work unless they come in the organization, then they realize, okay, this can work, this will not work. For a leadership hire, I would say the attitude makes a whole lot of difference. You understand, I would say that's where the organization says, okay, culture fit is more important. More than the culture fit, as leaders, can we keep our ego outside and work with the team? Work with the people. It could be your peers. It could be people reporting to you. It could be your stakeholders. I can't come back and say, hey, sorry, that's my way or highway. It won't work. Here is the thing, right? That's one way of looking at it. But the other one is clearly making sure we have, clear defined roles and expectations. And also not just look at traditional methods, but also kind of see, innovative strategies if you can come back with. Focus on the candidate experience, which is the crux. Today with AI and all of it, what we forget is the candidate experience, no? That no AI can take, no AI can do that, isn't it? So I know for a fact, like just Saturday, day before yesterday, we had a conversation on talent acquisition and talent management, looking at the entire supply chain in the digital age. It's good to have chatbots and all of it. But the candidate experience is something that the ATS or any tool can't. It can give out an answer. It can give out a set reply. But having a human interface, a human touch to call and say, hey, this is where you stand in the entire process. that still requires a human touch. No AI can get that. So that's the crux. And I must say, with the current organization that I've joined, I've had a fantastic candidate experience. Every week I had a call. There was never, I've actually written an article on this on LinkedIn, which clearly says what made me decide that this is the organization. Very clear expectations, what they needed from me. Everything was laid out. They actually made sure I understood what I was coming in for. How many organizations do it? So I'm coming from there. So that makes a difference. I would say it's a combination. It's definitely a combination. It can't be just one person. Because I remember, see, today what's happened is, I think with COVID hitting us, there's a very thin line between personal and work if you're working from home. Very thin line, right? You don't know when the demarcation just kind of blurs. But the minute you go to the office, you are there only for a set time. Then you come back home, you have at least a breather. So I think from that perspective, it's very important for each one of us, be it the organization or the individual, to understand how do you manage yourself? Are we trying to say burnout didn't happen earlier before COVID? It used to, right? But maybe we're talking about it more today because of what happened during the pandemic, where both the husband and wife are at home. And if it's a small house, you're actually clashing onto each other, right? You can actually hear each other's voice. So those are some things that's kind of, is happening more, I would say. But how can an organization make a difference? I would say organizations today have also come up with, the support resources, right? Providing them like wellness programs, mental health support, which was earlier looked down on, but today it's not, right? And also create, maybe managers. I always do this with my team, have a regular check in, especially if I have somebody who's not coming to office. If you're coming to office, you have a regular meeting, you meet every day, you always know what's happening. But if you have somebody who's working remotely, you need to make sure you have that regular check in. You define what's the regular check in, and it makes so much of a difference. So it's a combination. As I said, it can't be just one person, it's a combination. I would say, I would bucket it to three different categories, right? First, I would say the minute a person is joined in, you need to have a buddy system that in a way becomes a learning, right? A buddy in the sense, at least there is no ego clashes, nothing. It's more an informal way. And you move that buddy, he kind of gets in to be a mentor over the period of time. Can you bring in that? Which encourages knowledge sharing and collaboration among employees. And you can also look at what can we do between, I would call it a blended learning, which is nothing but you combine digital media with traditional classroom methods. You can't just, I know during the COVID times we went all off online, but I think today we need to have a combination of both traditional classroom and digital media, which kind of caters to different learning styles. And it's not gone are the days where, you would have one whole day program or, a series of 5 days. I think today people don't have, I would say instead of saying don't have, I would say break it down into small size bite learnings. Maybe, that can, make sure your learning is more effective. So these are, some things that I strongly believe in. See, I would say, see, that comes back to we recently had a conversation on LinkedIn Live from XLRI, which says diversity. Do we talk about meritocracy or quota system for the women? This is coming very close to that, right? So it was interesting where I heard two senior folks saying, why are we even saying quotas for women? We are undermining the effort. Similarly, I would always say India with the diverse culture that we had, right? Yes, there were some professions that they said no, women were not there and stuff, but I think that's changed over the years. So all I can say is within my own organization, we have 40% diversity. That's my ratio today, which is fantastic overall. And at a management level, also, we have 40-60, 40% women. Now, that's the DNA of the organization, right? You have to bring in that subtle influence and not make it like a mandatory. It has to be grown, it has to be felt. It's like if if in your house, if you have to do it, how would you do it? Diversity and inclusion starts from home. It starts with you. It starts with your family. Between us, we will have different generations, right? Your parents are, 3 decades older than you. Then it's you, and then it's your child who's another 2 decades younger than you. It all depends. So you inculcate that kind of a behavior at home. The people who help you at home, the people who support you, how do you treat them? That says so much about who you are. Then that's how you make that difference. It's all easy to talk, but if you don't practice it, sorry, it won't work. It's a combination. And for example, if I don't bring myself to work, can I say I have a lot of pride in working for the organization? If I don't have integrity in my own DNA, how can I say this is the value that the organization is trying to tell me? So it starts from there. And it's, as you said, every day you need to practice it. You need to showcase, you need to experience, you need to make people experience it with you, and you also experience it. So good to have, but how do you bring that in? So, which basically means it's a top down approach. You showcase it, walk the talk. It's so easy to use the word, use the sentence walk the talk, but if you don't do it, not happening. And that's where I tell people volunteer. A lot of values come from there. The minute you do that, when you're volunteering, there's no age difference. All of you are volunteering for the same cause. It doesn't matter if you're the CHRO, if the other person is a HR executive. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO or anybody else, but you're bringing in that kind of respect and you're saying, no egos here. We're all working towards the same cause. That changes the entire dynamics. That inculcates the person you are. And it's not going to happen over time. It's over the years. I know it's what, 15 years since I volunteer? I continue to volunteer for various causes. Anything that, I feel passionate about, I'm there. So yeah, it's a combination of both. It's good to have, but then also you need to walk the talk.